I always remember the time when I was in my condominium and I was in front of the elevator. There were two people talking to each other. One was an immigrant, the other was a native speaker. They were talking about the weather. The guy who was the immigrant, not going to say where he was from, but that guy was speaking in a very monotone voice. Okay, it was something like, the weather is really warm today. It's really good. It is good outside. The lady responded, said basically the same thing, but she said it like this. She said, yeah, the weather is so warm outside. It is beautiful. The difference in emphasis showed me right there that, okay, this is what native speakers do versus immigrants. And immigrants won't notice it because we're talking naturally. Native speakers won't notice it because we're talking naturally. An English teacher who's there in front with both examples in front of you, I would notice. And that's what I saw. And I was like, this is something students need to know. In CELPIP speaking, you are marked on tone. And a lot of people don't understand what tone is. In my previous videos, I have said that it is emphasis whenever you want to emphasize a quality or you want to have some expression. Be like a human being. Talk like you talk to friends. Don't talk like you're a robot. And that's essentially the whole thing. But today we're going to learn from an example. I'm going to play this interview of Laura Dern. I like her because she's very expressive, a famous actress. I think she was in Jurassic Park and Star Wars. So why I like her is because she's the perfect example of how emphasis should be. I will say she's a little too much, a little overboard, but when you are doing your exams, just for those few minutes, and when you're doing job interviews, those few minutes, and like this, the interview that I'm going to play for her, in those few minutes, when you have the interaction where people are judging you and you're doing a test, especially like CELPIP or even IELTS, you want to play this emphasis game, and that's going to give you marks and value anywhere you speak in these situations. Without further ado, let me tell you what I'm talking about.
Conversations.
That was amazing. I was thrilled by our table. We had the amazing painter John Curran to our left.
Amazing, yep.
And as people were coming up, talking.
Here I want you guys to notice how she pauses between every phrase. We had a table, and that's one part of the speech. Then we had this person coming to us, paused again, and then continues. Pausing is really important too, because it's like this is one segment of the sentence, this is the other, and so on. Take pauses. Pauses is something that every great speaker uses. Next.
Talking about selfies and fashion, and isn't it amazing? It's so gorgeous. I remember we engaged in a conversation about psoriasis, which I really enjoyed.
Now that's something funny, okay? Now, after psoriasis, she pauses. In this case, she asks the audience, so there's going to be applause, so the pause is a little longer. But also, in real life, when you make a little humor, pause a little. Once again, emphasis on pausing.
What's your trick?
I think being raised by actors.
Okay,
both my parents actors and my father, Bruce Dern, who started...
At this point, she's just being descriptive. There's no emotion involved. This is just a story in the past. Now here, it's okay to be monotone. Even here, if you're monotone, you're actually having a variation. Because in the other parts of your speech, you are having that emphasis, going up and low on volume. So in this part, it's okay to be descriptive because it's also different from the rest of your speech, which is more excited or more depressed. But being descriptive here is okay. Let's listen more.
Being known as the bad guy in Westerns.
Right, sure. Yeah,
so
the cowboys.
I remember as a kid, my parents talking about how if you want to be an actor, be a chameleon, try new things, and they love playing flawed, complicated.
One thing you guys will notice is how much she's moving her head. If you think this is awkward, this is actually very normal. Once again, in Canada and the US, people talk like this. People move their head a lot, and I think I'm doing that right now too. So if you do that, your voice changes as well. Think about when you're walking down the stairs and you're speaking to someone. Your voice is changing because you're bumping your head up and down. Same thing happens here. If you're actually moving your head, you know that the CELPIP speaking is online, but you're moving your head. The person listening can hear the emphasis. When you're agreeing with something and you're nodding up and down, it can easily be heard across whoever is listening to you. Let's listen more.
People to have, hopefully, empathy for human behavior. And so always shake it up and try something new. So I think that was a huge influence on me.
Nope.
Tone goes down. When she finishes the sentence, you can see how she was like, so that had a huge influence on me. The volume went down because we're finishing the sentence. In French, if you hear French speakers, it's kind of confusing when they talk because when they finish sentences, the volume goes up. So it's like, I had a great day. So I'm like, okay, is that a question? but that's what some cultures do. But if you're speaking pure English, you want to speak like a native speaker, make sure your volume goes down at the end of the sentence, just like I did right now.
No, I understand. Like when
Forwarding.
17 takes, I had to eat 17 ice creams. And
what is this for? What was this?
it was for the film Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore,
Oh, sure.
which my mom, Diane Ladd, was in.
Yes.
And I remember being fascinated by acting. My mom was like, you'll never be an actress. Don't be an actress.
You see how when she's talking about her mom, she's talking like her mom. She's saying, don't be an actress, you'll never be an actress. It is kind of a condescending tone, and that is being used because she's showing this is how her mom talked. And that is important because this is the natural way of copying someone. In case you're talking in CELPIP and you are, again, doing that part 1 of CELPIP speaking, where you're giving advice and you're telling this person how to lose weight, and you can tell them that, look, I've heard all your excuses. I know that you're really busy. I know you don't get enough time. And then you continue with the suggestion. So again, this is one way of kind of interpreting or acting like someone, imitating them, and also changing your tone according to how you're describing that person.
Actively telling you not to
actively
do it.
telling me like it's not the easiest job, it's complicated for women. I heard all these things, and then
This is the second time I heard her do this. It's not an easy job, it's complicated for women. When you give a list of things, do that. This is a good way to do emphasis. For example, I cannot do enough work these days because I'm too stressed. You know, I have to look after my kids, and then I have to look after the dog, and I have to cook food. I just don't have enough time. You see what I did there? This is emphasis when you're giving examples, when you're making a list. You can have that up and down tone.
Scorsese walked over and she was like, he goes, that kid just ate 17 ice cream cones and didn't throw up. She's got to be an actor. I was like, thank you, Mr. Scorsese. So that was good.
The great thing about her is when she has expressions where she's feeling excited or happy or wants to show that emotion, which is a positive one, the volume goes up, okay? This is important whenever you have excitement, volume goes up. When you're depressed, sad, or serious, volume goes down. At the same time, whenever you start new sentences, volume always goes up, okay? That's a general formula. So right now, for example, I'm talking to you guys, okay? Guys, this is a CELPIP video. We're going to learn lots of speaking techniques in this video. In the next video, we're going to, so you see, as soon as I start a new sentence, my volume is supposed to go up. That is a natural way of a native speaker. All right, guys, going to stop the video here. Now, I know that not everybody can do this. Not everybody can speak like this, especially if this is not your natural self. But it's all about faking it, okay? When you're in job interviews, we have a lot of lies, right? When you are pitching someone, there are a lot of lies sometimes. So right now, your tone, your personality has to be a lie for this particular exam just to get through it and get your marks for a few minutes. So if it's not your personality, fake it. Try to have that emphasis. Learn more from such interviews on YouTube, for example. Type Laura Dern interviews. You'll see many of those where she's talking, and she's just one person who I selected. There are a lot of people like her, or a lot of guys' videos as well, native speaker, to have lots of emphasis. Tony Robbins, maybe for guys, would be a really good example of a video. You would see how the fluctuations of volume happens. And if you follow that, you will sound more native. You'll get the marks for tone and emphasis in the CELPIP exam, and you will do a lot better than what you might be doing right now. If you find value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care.